see that thing is like a hot knife through butter. What's up guys, Ian Sandusky from Lakewood Machine Tool, back here again for Practical Machinist. And today on Machine Shop Talk, we're going to be testing out some heat shrink holders to see how they do. But before we do, make sure you like, subscribe, and turn on notifications below to make sure you never miss a video. Let's get into it. Okay guys, so as promised today, we are going to be taking a look and doing a little test with some heat shrink holders. Heat shrink holders, for those of you who don't know, they are a holder that holds your end mill or other tool that heats up. It's a solid holder. It heats up, you put the tool in, and as it cools, it contracts around the part, or around the tool. And this is something I've been dying to try out forever. You know, I've seen a lot of them on the road. I've always heard you can push them a lot harder. I've always heard that the run out on them is much smaller, so you get a lot less chatter and deflection. And overall, they're just a great option. But I've never had the chance. So Iskar offered to send a few along for me to try out, and I thought, well, if I'm going to try it out, I might as well share it with you guys. So we're going to be testing out two heat shrink holders today. The first one is this length right here. These are really cool. It's for a 3/8 end mill size. And they're really cool because they have essentially a collet on the back, that same profile as an ER collet. So this is just a normal collet holder. So I didn't have to replace the whole assembly. I just got this, put it in there, and away we go. The other one we're going to be using, so this one is going to be a 4-flute variable helix end mill with a DLC coating. That's Iskar as well, also in an Iskar holder. And the other one we're going to be testing out is this longer version. You can see these come in various lengths, and this one is also for the 3/8 holder. We're going to be running a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 flute end mill in this one. This one's a little bit longer, fits in the same way. We're going to be running these and seeing how we like them. The third tool we're going to be using here, just to illustrate what's going on and comparing it to a tool that has long stick out, is this one right here. This has that same kind of adapter on the back where it fits into an ER collet, but this one is just a straight extension with a screw-on head. This is it's kind of a high feedy style screw-on head. So we're going to be trying those out. So let's get to shrinking. Let's not say on circumstance. Come on, let's go. We don't have a heat shrink system here at Lakewood, but one of the machinists said he used to torch them in at another shop he worked at. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to heat up these holders with our handy dandy torch, and as this is my first time doing this by hand, I was a little bit surprised just how hot you need these holders to get to accept the tool. These pop right into the holders just like we said, like a standard collet, and we're ready to machine. We're going to be running this in some 1018 bar we just had sitting on the shelf, and to start off, we're going to be doing some side milling passes. So to start off, we're going to be running the 3/8 4-flute cutter in the shorter heat shrink extension. We're going to be starting off at 6,300 RPM in the speed and 35 inches per minute in the feed, taking a full 3/8 depth of cut with a 100th thou step over. It's about 1.5 thou of chip load per tube. Right away, you can see this is cutting like butter. Even being held at 2 inches of length away from the holder, those chips are flying, and if you listen, it sounds absolutely perfect. If it was just a cutter held out at this length, we'd be dealing with a lot of squealing and chatter. I don't know if any of you guys have hung tools out quite a distance, but you're going to get deflection, you're going to hear that chatter. I would argue that this is cutting just as well, if not better, than a super short end mill chucked in all the way up in the shank, right to the cutter head. We can probably push this cutter harder, but hold on for a minute because we are going to get there as well. And just look at that finish. That's incredibly impressive considering that the final pass was at 100th step over. There's no finish pass involved, and you can see the floor shows no signs of deflection either. It's very, very smooth. Now let's move on to our second tool, the 3/8 diameter 7 flute in the even longer holder. For this one, we're gonna run it at the same speed and feed, but we're gonna speed it up a bit as we go to see what it will do. It has more flutes, it will be able to take a different chip load. We're only taking a 50 thou pass here, but you can see it is having absolutely no problem at all. So look at those chips, just flying. We're gonna get it going a bit faster. I'm just literally hitting the override here in the machine. We're gonna dial up that feed, which this should have no problem with given the load per tube. And that's absolutely quiet, no chatter at all, and at that length, again, really impressed with how this thing's going. If you needed to get into a deep feature, this would make it extremely easy. And you wouldn't be fighting deflection, which can cause a huge issue with a tool that is that small in diameter at these lengths. Whoop, bit sparky there. Let's dial it back a bit. We're cutting dry, so in reality, that's probably fine. We're still pushing this thing quite quickly with no issue. Now, let's pull up that third tool. To be completely clear, I'm just gonna do this strictly for illustration for those of you who may not have worked with tooling at these longer lengths before, so you can compare how quiet those shrink fit holders are. We're gonna be running a pocket with this high feed style 1/2 inch diameter cutter on an extension. We're gonna be taking 50 thou depth cuts with a fairly large step over. To be clear, if you dialed this in, you could get it running quite quietly, but I want you to hear what chatter and squealing sounds like at these longer lengths. Yeah, there it is. Again, I'm doing this on purpose. For roughing pass, you're gonna get some squealing sometimes, but remember, squealing means vibration. And not only is that gonna give you a much rougher finish, it's also gonna make it harder to hold tolerances. And it's really gonna negatively affect your tool life. Let's just stop that one there. I think you get the point. So you can see just how smooth those cuts were, but that was side milling. And I really want to see what these things can do. So let's do a little torture test, shall we? Let's take some full diameter, full depth slotting cuts. We're going to use the same speeds and feeds as we did side milling and see what happens. Woo! And you can see that thing is like a hot knife through butter. We're getting some beautiful blue chips coming off, meaning that the heat is leaving the cut with the chip. And listen to that. No chatter, no squealing, no nothing. These heat shrink holders tend to have a lot less run out and hold a lot tighter than a collet, so I wouldn't be surprised if that body would actually help dampen the vibration in the cut. And just look at those finishes. That's smooth. And if we look at that cutter, no chips, not even any wear on that coating, which I'm a little surprised by because we were cutting it dry. So there you have it, guys. I had a lot of fun playing around with these. If you ever get the chance to pull some into your own shop, I'd recommend it because you'd be surprised what a little cutter like this can do. I wouldn't think that could do those full slots that easily. I was thinking we were going to snap it first cut, but I'm impressed and happy that we didn't. So I'm going to be playing around with these in my shop for a little while. Highly recommend you check them out. Thank you very much to Iskar for letting us try these, and make sure you let us know in the comments below. Do you use shrink fit holders in your shop? Do you use the larger style? Have you tried the ER call it adapter style? And what tips would you give to someone besides getting an induction heating machine? Don't torch them in like I did. But what tips would you give to somebody who is starting out with heat shrink tooling? Thank you very much for watching, guys. And as always, make sure you like, subscribe, and turn on notifications below to make sure you never miss a video. Thank you very much for watching, guys. You take care.